approximately 2 seconds. Alright, we should be live, so...
Mara has no legs.
Good way to start it off. So, hello everyone that is in the chat. You all know me, your friendly Dark Titan. We'll go down the list of who is hanging out with me today. First, we have Mr. Black Screen, Grim Monolith. Hello,
yes,
Grim.
Hello. I am Grim Monolith.
Yeah.
I have run many magic events in my life.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. We have Mr. Esfera.
Your angry neighborhood game store owner. Don't get me mad or I'll flip a table on your WPN action.
I mean, I hope as a game store owner you wouldn't particularly do that, but, I mean, okay. And we have,
I thought this was opposite day.
Yep, and we have, Eric, Mr. Undying MTG, that I still want to call Man Cave. But I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to. Just for you.
Some of us, you will always be the cave.
I know, especially Carl. He will not let it die at all.
Carl? Carl or not Carl?
Yeah, right? Carl or not Carl. That's true. But how are you guys doing today? I hope that everyone is doing very well.
Fantastic.
All right.
Have you ever wanted to strangle someone just for the sake of strangling them?
What?
Sure.
Oh yeah, every day when I go into work, there's an individual.
I mean, it's the regular WPN news that came out today. I'm just ready. I'm ready to throw.
You can start off with explaining everything if you would like to, and then you can get into your thoughts first. Our angry local game store owner is in an interesting mood today.
Yes.
So let's just state that hell is paved with good intentions, and today's article is paved with good intentions.
Oh, that's an interesting way to put it.
So basically, they've taken away the old system in favor of a new system.
Your camera is shaking, by the way.
I'm shaking the damn table. It's my own fault. Or I'm rocking back and forth.
Oh yeah.
I do my best thinking rocking.
Okay.
So, they've just scrapped the WPN network as it stands and are implementing, seems pretty knee-jerk, no rollout 2 months from now, an entire brand new system that is based on some type of fluffy metric that I have never heard of before. You know, they're going to give you engaged players, aka Mr. Alpha Investments Enraged players. They're going to give you tickets. If you go too fast, you're screwed. But...
We call them arbitrary numbers. They're just arbitrary metrics.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
It's literally, I look at the system, and until they publish what the metrics are going to mean to the stores in the form of, if you have this metrics, you get this. If you have this metrics, you get this. No, they're saying that they're going to cater it on a case-by-case basis based on your metrics. So it tells me it's arbitrary, which means that your best LGS in a town could fall out of favor, and suddenly their metrics don't meet the arbitrary number that they need, and now the player base gets screwed. I don't know. We'll see how that works out.
Why don't we take a look at the article?
Oh yeah, take a look at the article. I'm just reading some quick, some tidbits of information. My favorite is active players versus engaged players. So engaged players are going to be the number of people that come through your store and play on a, like, say, month-to-month basis. Your active players, though, are going to be the people that play exclusively in your store. And I say exclusively because they say it's based on the number of times they attend your events. So does attending somebody else's event in another location disengage them from your store and cause them to fall off the chart and now mess with your metrics? There's no real, like, definite solid information there that says this.
Right.
And then on top of this, they've implemented the new WPN Premium.
Yes.
To attain Premium, you have to jump through epic hoops. And I mean absolutely epic. Because the information that they want from the LGS, right? Note also that we require WPN Premium stores to attach the last 2 months of aggregated, that's the important word there, point of sales data. United States only. So the rest of the world, we don't care about you. United States, we care about you. You don't get magic anymore. And a floor plan as part of the application. Point of sales data is used only for only internal purpose collection and will not be shared third party. Whereas I believe that the data they get from you won't be used. Them recompiling the data makes it new data, which they're now free to do whatever they want with.
Correct.
Now here's the unrealistic part of the whole thing. We'll request the following fields of point of sales data for Wizards of the Coast products. Ooh. Date and time of transaction, transaction numbers, UPC and or SKU, product description, quantity sold, unit sold price, aka they want to know what you're selling their product for. Probably going to use that data to up the prices for online sales.
Well, correct. Well, the thing is that since MSRP is no longer a thing, that's also going to be very interesting as well.
And then on top of that, total items priced, meaning how many items do you have of that for sale? So they're going to compile how much you're selling versus how much you decide to keep in the long term.
Correct.
Why this is unrealistic is you can get point of sales programs that help run your business. Inuit is annual or quarterly in order to run your business, but it can't give you this unless you opt into the massive retail bundle.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff that big box stores can do with the drop of a dime, but small LGSs can't.
Right.
I would argue that maybe at most 20 stores in the US have the capability of doing this.
Right.
Never mind how many of them are actually going to meet the other metrics needed to be a premium store. So you're looking at literally 5 stores in the United States. Your CFBs, your Card Kingdoms, your channel, like Star City Games, like you name it. If it's a big store and you've shopped at them or you know who they are just from brand recognition, they probably have this because they need it for the amount of volume they do.
Right.
But on a small store's level, there's no way we can keep up with the $2,000 biannual set of software.
Right.
Well, all right, who's skipping lines on the comments section?
The last one that I was involved in up in New Hampshire, we used Lightspeed OS. It's a Canadian company, but I'm sure you've heard of it. Anyway, getting that data out of Lightspeed OS would actually be pretty easy, but we were paying a premium per month. So we were paying for it. I'm sure that they're still paying for it because that store still exists.
Right.
But I imagine that, if you're not selling comics, you don't need. We needed it because we needed a huge inventory system because of comics. But if you're only selling gaming product, you don't need Lightspeed OS.
But I've got one more thing for you.
Sure.
When I actually called Wizards of the Coast and got them on the phone today, the phone rep actually said to me, "Well, there's software out there you can get that's as cheap as $50 a month that'll do that can do stuff for you for a POS." To which I replied,
"Add that."
I was like, "So you want every store to take on $600 a year minimum in added debt in order to qualify for your thing? Who are you partnered with? Are you partnered with one of these? Are you going to recommend?" "Oh, we don't recommend."
Right. Well,
then why are you requiring this data?
Right, unless they have a specific partnered software that they want to use and guide you to, they shouldn't require you to use one.
I just want to say, as far as $50 per month, they're living in the past.
Oh,
Lightspeed OS, used to be Merchant. So the one we used to use originally was Merchant OS, and that was $50 a month in 2012.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, Graham. If you use Crystal Commerce is $50 or $100 a month plus initial setup, right? Their initial setup is $500 to get on their platform. Then it's
Merchant OS Lightspeed didn't have a setup fee.
Then it's $50 a month minimum or $100 depending on your sales. If you hit more than 5,000 a month run through online sales, they jump to $100 flat. But the problem is, I had a working knowledge of their entire system through 2.0. The kind of information that Wizards wants is not possible on a low-end system. They want your date and time of transactions. They want to know quantities. They want to know the SKU number you sold it under.
They want a receipt for every purchase and more. They want
for the last 2 months.
Right.
They literally are saying, "Show us the receipts." They are slapping in the face.
But you could start now and then in 2 months try for it.
Well, no, but that's not the point.
Right. That's not the point. But
they want me to give them a data file with every single receipts of every single WPN item that has sold in my store.
Right.
Booster boxes, booster packs,
Right.
partner
they want
items,
everything that you have.
D&D books. They want to see the floor plan. They want to make sure that they're getting prime. They want to make sure that when they want to see your floor plan, they want to see that their product is front and center. That's what they're telling me with this information.
Right.
They want all these new. They want all these new pictures.
Yes.
I mean, they want. Originally, when you applied for the WPN, you had to send in some pictures, but that was the only time. You know, they didn't really scrutinize these pictures to what they're talking about scrutinizing them.
Well, now they are. Right.
Well, here's the other thing.
They don't have pictures.
Here's the other thing, Grim. A floor plan is something that big stores and big retailers set up. Small stores don't do floor plans. This is something that chains do. This is something. So basically, this seems like a preemptive strike for them to try to put Walmart as a WPN.
Correct. But
I mean wow. I didn't really think of it that way, but that's true.
Right.
I mean, when I was a kid, I worked at Best Buy, and we had to move things around based on different floor plans they sent us. But in any of the LGSs that I was involved in, especially the one that I had ownership in, we didn't have floor plans. We would just move things around as we saw fit.
Right. And now, it's not that easy. Because now they require these floor plans, and it's just like they went from like a 5 on the scale to like a 25. They completely changed everything.
I just a little add-on to the thing about the POS, and why would a lot of stores not be using a POS? Because they don't need to. Because a lot of these smaller stores don't need a POS.
Well, correct.
They can run their business off a register that records the amount of sales they make for their tax purposes. It records the amount that they need to pay towards sales tax if they're in a state that has sales tax.
Right.
New Hampshire.
Correct.
But the register shows that.
Correct.
But they don't need any other record, and the other records they just do by hand because they're small stores.
Right.
So as an LGS, they don't need anything more than a register. The LGSs, even the higher end ones, don't need more than a register that tracks their individual sales and captures the sales tax, so they can pay their sales tax 4 days before the end of the month, estimating the last 4 days to their state, depending on their state rules.
Right. I mean, it sounds like they're trying yet another measurement of weeding out smaller stores. I mean, that's what this feels like. Yet again, just another step in, I don't want to say the wrong direction, but an anti-smaller local game store direction.
And they're not telling small stores that if you don't send us this data, you can't sell our product.
Right.
But, because you can still be a non-WPN store and still sell Magic product. You don't have to be involved in any of this.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to be a premium store and get premium placements on their website, you need to be able to provide this data.
Promos.
Well, that's the thing.
The promos are still going to come through. That's not the problem. But there's going to be premium aspects to the promos and other things. What I don't like about this is they're saying that if one store in a state has the capability of doing this, regardless of if they're the best store in the state to play at, they're going to get higher placement when Johnny Combo goes and looks for a store on the Wizards store locator over a store that's better, purely because this store is a premier store and they're going to get an extra flag which says that these people are better than the rest for some arbitrary reason of they give us their sales data.
Right.
That is infuriating.
Oh, yeah, it is infuriating. Let's look at this in a regional point of view. Eric, how many stores in your area, because you're in a totally different area than we are, how many stores in your area do you think can even match this criteria?
Only the ones that are in major cities. Like I know there's a really big one in Columbus, and I can't think what it's called off the top of my head. It's like Comic Zone or something like that. I can't think what the heck it's called. It's Comic something, but it's a real big one. They have some pretty decent events, but like that store probably won't have a problem with it. But like what I was discussing with you guys before we went live, like the store in my area, like they're okay for us being a small town. Like they usually average, probably about 20 to upside would be probably close to 40 on a good Friday. And that's during the off season. And then the issue that I was kind of wondering was how stuff was going to get affected in the summertime, because with them between May and September, that's our tourist season. And they usually ramp up in F&Ms, depending on what is going on, can get upwards of about 60 plus people. Right. It just depends on what's going on. And with the whole rules and stuff, I don't know if it's gonna help or actually hurt.
Right.
Depending on once those tourists leave and start going to other stores,
numbers
what the heck, fluctuate. Right. It's gonna be all wonky, and who knows how they're gonna look at it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to also look at like school. During the summer, a younger, I want to say, audience goes to game stores, and then during the rest of the school year, they don't have that much time, so they might not come every week as they would during the summer. That's the thing, is that you have to consider fluctuation of just life in general.
And as for abuse of the system, they have set up the perfect scenario for anybody who has the capability to fake this data to become a premium store and just flat out lie about the data.
Right. Francis in chat says lots of rumors out there about fake WPN stores out in the wild. This should stop that.
No, it won't.
Well, you don't think so?
Right. I'll throw this in before as Farrah talks. You're going to not only see more fake WPN stores, but you're going to see more WPN stores fake their numbers.
Well, correct. Right, that's the problem.
To make it look like they have more players, or to try and match the data that Wizards wants.
Right,
now, there's already been a problem with stores faking numbers to become advanced plus
before.
Now it's going to be worse.
Yeah, Grim, this is one of the points I was trying to make earlier when we were talking before pre-stream. Wizards of the Coast has set up the perfect scenario where you could turn around. Oh boy, the fan's going crazy. There we go. Wizards of the Coast has set up the perfect scenario where they can, they've allowed stores that do bad practices to increase those bad practices because they're going to reward it. Under the current system, you can fake it to get to this level and then you cap out, but you get the same amount as all the legitimate stores.
Correct.
Right? And have achieved this level.
Right.
Now, a legitimate store is only ever going to achieve this level.
Right.
The fake stores are going to have incentive to make more engaged accounts. Let's say I make 30 fake WPNs over the next 2 months and I keep running them through event after event after event after event.
Right.
They're going to become active players.
Right.
They're also going to be engaged numbers.
Right. So it is going to help boost your store in those regards. Even if they're not real people, even if they're not real numbers, they're still going to help your store. So it's going to encourage people to create these, fake WPN accounts and such, and then this happens.
They're in the act of trying to weed out smaller stores, because that's what I think they're trying to do.
There's always a way around it.
I think that they're trying to consolidate in one way. I think that they are trying to do data collection, like Asper is saying. There is an element here where this is going to be mass data collection.
Oh, yes.
This is also the kind of data a company does prior to a sellout. They get as much information as they can to make the company look more appealing to an investor coming in.
It's always the more information you have, the better off a situation of buying or selling is going to be. The more information you have, the more appealing it seems. It's less of a unknown zone or an unknown factor that you'd have to think about when coming up with an offer or such like that.
And by creating these premier stores in areas where there's a lot of stores, you might
drown out all the stores.
You basically can. They're trying to, in a way, possibly consolidate stores, and not consolidation as in they combine, but consolidate as in the smaller ones just disappear because they're not getting any exposure from Wizards anymore. Right. And unless they're doing massive online sales, they're going to disappear, and the larger stores are going to be the ones at the forefront, and these are the ones that are going to be advertised, and they're the ones that are going to survive, which consolidates the player base, which I think is something that Wizards might want. Go ahead, sorry.
Right.
Wizards of the Coast has basically set up a system. Think about Massachusetts. We've got 70 stores here?
Yep.
Easily?
Yep.
maybe 3 have the capability of providing this software. I know for a fact that 2 of them could provide it, but only 1 of them has this information right now. I'm not going to name the names of the stores, but it's a pretty damn big store with a massive warehouse.
Right. Someone like you and I and all 3 of us can assume that, but right.
Yeah. The reason why I can assume this is I've been in retail for my entire life. I'm 43. People know this. I'm an old dirty bastard. But that being said, for the purposes of retail, when you're running a small store, not a chain, you bring as many costs down as possible. One of those costs is a POS. We don't need it. We know that we're running low on Ravnica allegiances, so we're going to call our distributor this week, and when we place our order, we're going to order 1 box of this or 1 box of that, while we get a couple of boxes of cardboard and, fill in a couple of D&D books, and while we're at it, grab a couple of loose board games that sold this week, because it's easy item management. We might be doing high volume, like I might need 30 boxes of guilds this week, but there's no reason for me to have to point of sale it and pay somebody else money to help me micromanage my inventory.
Correct.
At the end of the year, I have all my invoices. They're all scanned in. My software tracks how much money went out, how much money came in, and how much sales tax I have to pay. My corporate tax comes through, and I'm like, okay, cool. I have to pay this percentage based on my taxes. Now I'm going to have to pay more, and it's already tight margins.
Right.
Yeah. In the end, all you need is your bank statements, your invoices from your companies, your sales, total sales tracked out of your register, and that is what you need to do your taxes.
Right.
Because all of those are your legal documents.
Right.
And it works. But Wizards is saying no, you don't. You need all of this other information that in a small LGS you can track by eye. You don't need a computer to track it.
I'd like more information from Eric, because I'm sure he has perspectives that it's like past me, but I'm flabbergasted at this point.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, Eric? What are your thoughts on this?
On just the whole them trying to basically kill small stores by just adding 1 more BS rule to their ongoing list of shenanigans. I mean, it doesn't make sense, and I mean, it's not feasible to the average store, because not every store is in like a bigger city or has a
larger base.
Right. I mean, some smaller stores are I mean, they're, maybe averaging on a good Friday, maybe 10, 15 people for standard F&M. I'm not talking for casual, like commander and stuff like that. I'm just taking it into consideration, just standard only.
Right.
I mean, even there was one store in my area before the 2 stores merged. The one store only got myself and 3 other people for standard on a weekly basis for like 6 months. It was insane. So I mean, I can only imagine how there's probably other stores like that elsewhere. So I mean, I don't see how this is gonna like be like some awesome thing if they're trying to present it that way. It just doesn't make sense. Like, oh yeah, you can have a premium thing. It's like, really? How? It doesn't even make sense for the vast majority of stores. So I mean, I don't know. It's just another head scratcher, more or less, and I just don't understand what the heck it's supposed to do or what it's supposed to help, or are they or what they're trying to, I guess, people were talking about it slightly in the chat, was the whole thing of trying to deal with places like sports and more and stuff, but I don't know if that's going to even matter.
Right. Well, how does this even matter in that in this situation?
This stores like sports and more. This doesn't mean anything.
Let's not say store when talking about sports and more, because we all know they are a distributor. Hidden Kitty.
Yeah.
It's investigative kitty.
Very
But
true.
Someone.
As Farrah, you were saying before how and at the beginning of the stream we were talking about how they have now. The whole WPN system is wiped, meaning the levels are wiped.
Yeah.
So now we don't know. Not even talking about premium stores.
I also
we
knew
we don't even know what the non-premium stores are going to be getting for special product and promos.
They said that we're all going to get product and whatnot, and we're going to get it, but it's going to be based on our numbers. So it means that the stores that get more players are going to get more product. But take my store. I get 30 people for commander pods, but we don't run them through the software because it's commander pods. Their software is not set up for it. Casual events are going to count, but now I'm forced to start running them through the software. It's fine. I'm okay with this, but it just adds an extra step on Friday night for something that didn't need it to prove what I was. Because, like, to keep your WPN before, I knew how many people I had in my store. I just had to run X number of events per month and maybe one big one every 6 months to a year. And I could do that easily by doing a shout-out, free commander tonight. We're also giving out XYZ for prizes. And I'd pack the store with 60 people.
Right.
Now I have to put them through the software every week just to maintain a minuscule level to get some type of promotional items and to keep myself listed on their website.
Right.
There are going to be many levels now, and
yes.
it's like many levels.
It's just adding another layer to the onion. That's
yeah.
I'm sorry, but
it is though.
I see you cringing over there,
onions.
Eric. I see you cringing a little bit, but you know what I'm talking about, though. That's the thing.
It is.
Take a bite out of this onion and boil your breath stink.
You'll be crying the whole time.
Yeah. Someone in chat, Marine actually said, if they're trying to kill paper, why would they make a whole set for their most popular format?
Modern is not their most popular format, if that's what I'm assuming. Commander is their most popular format. Let's not joke around with this.
I'll say that Commander's definitely exploded over the past handful of years, for sure.
Well, correct.
And I think from a competitive standpoint, Modern is more feasible to play over Legacy.
Well, correct. I guess it depends on what... Right.
If you're looking at it at that perspective.
Right.
They said they don't want to do print masters for the foreseeable future. Let's not lie. This upcoming Horizon set is a master set. It's a 254 card set with 249 cards in it that have either never been printed before or have never been or are not legal in Modern reprints, aka they're going to pull from older sets, aka possibly Force of Will. 5 cards are going to be Modern reprints.
Right.
I'll put money on it right now. How many
Do you guys think?
Fetch land. All 5 of the set cards.
Right.
How many cards? And do you think? So, if they do this, how many cards do you think, if they do it, would they pull from Legacy to put into Modern? In this,
not just Legacy, but let's just say, how many cards will they pull from? Could even be Commander. Don't forget, True Name Nemesis came from Commander, and I think that's going to be in this set.
Right.
There's enough answers in Modern between the Grixis Charm, not the Grixis Charm, sorry, the Golgari Charm, and a bunch of other stuff that give minuses, where it's not as bad of a beating, but it is a decent card in the format.
I'd be okay with True Name Nemesis. I'm just saying.
Me too.
Like,
I love True Name Nemesis.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry.
I mean, I could see them pulling. I think it was called Soul Snare. It was a 1 white drop enchantment that you could pay 1 second, and it sacks like an attacking creature coming at you. So it's like you can sit on the board. It'll help feed out the Soul Sister style decks and things like not Soul Sister, sorry, the Enchantress style decks. There are so many cards that have been printed in Commander over the years that people are like, I wish this was Modern legal.
Oh yes, agreed.
Flusterstorm.
Oh yes, there's plenty of cards.
Flusterstorm, Force of Will, True Name Nemesis.
Yep.
I mean, they're all blue, but man, they're all great cards.
Right.
I mean, what would you, Eric? What would you have them pull?
What's that?
What do you think? What would you have them pull for Modern Horizons?
Yeah, what would you like to see it?
I don't know. Like my expectations with that.
If you could have one card printed in Modern, what would it be?
That's not in Modern right now.
Yes. If there was anything, even if you don't, even if you're just gonna say Counterspell, because Counterspell's not gonna be in it. Come on, guys. Let's be honest. Stop fooling yourselves. What would you want? Don't say Counterspell. It's not coming.
Oh,
don't get excited.
No.
Yeah, don't get excited. You either, Asfara. Don't get excited. It's not happening.
I don't know. I mean, I love Dark Ritual.
Ooh, Dark Ritual. Yep. Okay.
That's what
I would love to see it, but I honestly feel that's too OP.
It is. But you asked me if there was one card, that would be like.
Marine says Counterspell will be in there. No,
really?
It won't
Not Demonic
be.
Tutor? Really? Not Demonic Tutor?
Demonic Tutor.
Demonic Tutor is good too.
Demonic Tutor skipping standard, going right into modern is a 2-drop that fills a need that a lot of decks need.
That would definitely be a very smart
true.
choice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love the idea of Demonic Tutor. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'd be like this all day for it.
Well,
But
correct.
the truth of the matter is, I'd like to see this be a home run set, and at a Magic Online MSRP, not MSRP, of $6.99, you are looking. Okay, you need to have the donation pop up. It's not MSRP.
Has there been any word on distribution costs?
Yes,
Right.
I have gotten word on distribution cost. Based on that $6.99, we are looking at 69% cost.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's
No.
not good.
This is what I wanted to get into. Like when we I guess we've segued into this point.
Yes.
Yeah, we're definitely on Horizon.
All right, Horizons is looking like it's going to be in the 165 plus per box cost to store range. And I say plus because distributors are going to take care plus or minus on that for the stores that are really good and that they do business with.
Right.
But your average store that's open in the last year is going to get completely bare bottled on this
And
one.
what would you assume that people would be selling them for?
I'm looking at probably in the neighborhood of between $8.99 and $9.99, but that's purely based on speculation of value. If there's no value in them, then we're gonna eat a boat on them.
Right.
So they have to do something with them, which is why I get back to my point of a 249 card set, 254 card set with 249 cards that have never been in Modern before.
Right.
These 5 cards in the set have been in Modern. I'd say that they're putting the fetch lands from Zendikar in it because that, on its own merit, is enough to sell a $6.99 a pack set.
Right. Well, you have to. Right.
And the other big thing too is think of it from this perspective. That's 36 pack boxes that are costing more than current MSRP.
Right. Right.
That
is broken.
Almost 69.52% cost per box.
Right.
That's huge.
Oh yeah.
That compared to the old, we're stuck at about 57 right now.
Right.
Okay.
Not so much more than the other master sets.
When you run the percentages, even the older master sets were at 57% cost.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were
well, actually, sorry, the older master
135.
The old master sets were around 135 for a 24-pack box. It broke down to 54%, so 9.99 times 0.54 broke down to about 540 a pack.
Right.
Right. These ones are breaking down to about 458 a pack. For a pack that they haven't even said is or is not going to contain a foil. So you slam the foil out.
Right. That's also another thing that we don't know is are they going to contain foils or not? They have not said.
Yeah.
That's also another aspect of it that we don't know because
Foil
otherwise.
per pack would be awesome.
What?
Foil per pack would be awesome.
Right.
I want to address something in chat. Carl says Demonic Tutor is banned in Legacy for very damn good reasons. The mana acceleration in Legacy is far greater than that in Modern. We get cards like Goryo's Vengeance, which will win you a game in response to somebody winning the game in Modern. Demonic Tutor is not that powerful.
Right. Exactly. Carl also said they are not going to reprint a card into Modern that's banned in Legacy.
I disagree with that 100%.
I disagree with that as well. I mean...
2 different machines. One has Lion's Eye Diamonds and stuff like that. The other one doesn't. Right. One has a dredge mechanic that is through the roof. Like, you're probably going to see older dredge cards that they did not want to run through Standard skip the line to add into Modern so they could take some of the Modern dredge cards out.
Right. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting because there's so many different ways that they could go with this set. There's so many different cards.
Francis says Strip Mine, to which I say, no. Wasteland, more likely. Strip Mine will never make it into Modern.
Yeah, I
so
mean...
Here's a general question. Could they also use the set to maybe put stuff in Modern that might hit some of the popular decks that are currently in the meta?
Well, put it this way. If they and I've been saying this as a proponent for it, printing Force of Will allows them to take 20-plus cards off the restricted list, opening the field for 20 new deck archetypes. Right. Could you imagine Hypergenesis in the format? It's a busted card now, but having something that it's because Hypergenesis is such an all-in strategy, having the ability to go just no with no, like losing a little tempo to shut them off, it's going to put it in check. There's a reason why Force of Will is referred to the glue that holds Legacy together.
Right. Tardis says, do you expect a Wasteland reprint?
I actually considered that. I think that's a very likely possibility.
Yeah,
because
I think that'd be a good choice, especially for a reprint. I think that would be good.
And especially the fact that it's not... The fact that it hits non-basics means that the monocolored decks are just going to laugh at it.
Right. Francis says Force of Will would be a huge mistake.
I would argue no with that, because I play a lot of Legacy with friends, and we've been discussing this since 2011. You give up hand-sized tempo in a format that's already very mulligan heavy, so that your hands are already low to begin with, in favor of trying to stop somebody from winning now. You're giving up a lot in doing it, and more often than not, you're giving up one of your win conditions in order to prevent somebody from winning. The card is strong, don't get me wrong, but the amount of tempo you lose, you're losing 2 cards to their 1 card to prevent them from winning the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna back that up and totally agree. Look, yeah. Force of Will, it's 2 cards.
Yeah.
You take 2 cards. You got to pitch a card to play it. So is it powerful? Yes, but you lose tempo and it puts you behind as far as hand size. So it has its drawbacks.
Yeah. Even fucking Space Marine says that. Oops, I said it. I said an F-bomb. Demonetized. This would be a great time for everybody to smash that like button.
Yeah, this is a good time to do that.
We had the F-bomb, so you have to like that.
Yeah.
Tell me why. I want to hear from everyone here. Why no counters? Why not put a hard 2 blue counterspell in there?
Do you really expect to see counterspell?
Well, I just feel that blue doesn't need it.
Mana
and I know that freaking Space Marine's like, pissy at me about it, but it's true. They really don't need it.
I agree with you.
I'd rather see Flusterstorm, to be honest with you.
I would 100% agree. I mean, right.
Okay, so here's the thing.
There's
2 blue limits the number of decks that can actually play it down to only the more solid color decks. People are like, well, there's Cryptic Command. And I'm like, yeah, there's Cryptic Command, but it does multiple things.
Right.
And it's a card around planning and shutting your opponent off so that you can get your win on the following turn. Counterspell is literally just that. For 2 blue, I'd rather play 1 blue 1 and leak them, because if the game's going long, the control deck's probably already winning the game, and the counterspell isn't going to matter.
Right.
That's true. I mean, what arguments are people giving you, Eric? What arguments are you being given by people that they think it should be in Modern? I agree with you. I don't think Modern needs it. But what kind of arguments?
According to Space Marine, it's I can't play against it, or people like myself can't play against it, and we need it nerfed, and that's not the case. I just view it as I have played competitive Modern, not for like years, but I did have a short stint, which close to a year, and I noticed they just don't need it.
3 years for
they have enough answers that just adding that it's not needed.
I agree. I mean, I definitely agree. Marine says Rosewater contemplated counterspell in Dominaria. It's totally going to be here. Just because he contemplated it in Dominaria, it's a totally different ballgame, because Dominaria was standard.
And Deathrite Shaman could be unbanned if they put Force of Will in the format.
What could be?
Deathrite Shaman. So could Stoneforge Mystic.
Still banned in Legacy. Still banned in Legacy. But, I guess my next question, or just throwing this out there, would be, what about bringing back some of the search cards, like Brainstorm or Preordain or stuff like that into Modern again?
Carl, if you're... I got to address this before we get into that topic. Force of Carl says Force of Will would be a mistake. Forcing a meta that not blue would play blue just to use Force of Will. You couldn't be further from the truth, because now you're playing at least 2 cards as a 4 of in your deck just to be able to Force of Will and hope that you get both of them. That's not going to happen.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. Use Pact of Negation at that point.
Force of Will. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just going to say Force of Will is a very, very hard card. Very hard card to splat.
Brainstorm will never happen in Modern because of miracles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What about I'm just saying in general,
They don't want one drop fast blue spells in Modern.
I mean, yeah.
Your name back or
every good one casting cost blue card in Modern is banned for a reason, because it's the only way blue decks work, and it takes it to time, and they don't want to support blue. That would be the only excuse why Force of Will would not be picked, is because they don't want to give blue the chance of being tier 2.
Francis says Force of Will and Counterspell kills Modern. What do you think about that, Asfara?
Disagree on both. Counterspell is 2 blue. It's slower than Mana Leak. Mana Leak is great. It allows you to play multiple colors. Force of Will forces you to commit early to 2 blue in play. And Counterspell forces you to commit 2 blue early on. As for Force of Will, there's enough of an argument out there that the format is so fast that you're already on a format where the mulligan matters more than the opening hand. So a blue deck is either going to keep a subpar opening hand with the Force of Will, or they're going to go for their primary win condition, which means they're going to force a mull and potentially not get a decent backup for Force of Will.
So what do the rest of you think about? I mean, we've talked Counterspell out. What do you think about Force of Will?
I think that I could see Force of Will for sure being in, Modern. I could for sure see that.
Do I know how Force of Will works? Carl, I was probably playing Magic before you were born when that card was standard legal. I know exactly how that card works. And I'm telling you that the tempo loss in a format like Modern, where tempo matters, is far more brutal than in a format like Legacy or Vintage, where tempo isn't as important.
Grizzly.
And a card that's very hard to splash.
Right.
Another blue card.
It's not just a splash card. You can't
put one blue card in your deck.
What are you going to run? Just 4 Forces of Will on the offset chance that you'll have 2 in your hand?
It's not. It doesn't work that way.
You have to have other blue, so it makes it very difficult splashing.
Right. Grizzly says Counterspell will be printed in Modern. Grizzly, we already have a bet. It's not going to happen.
If we're going to do anything for Modern, we're going to see, if we're going to see a 2 blue Counterspell in Modern, and no, I'm not going to say Mana Drain if they ever print that.
Yeah.
They completely break Affinity.
Yeah.
What you're going to see in Modern is probably going to be one of the old school, like, Daze style effects, which is still too powerful. Daze, I would argue that Daze is far more busted in Modern than Force of Will would be.
Right.
Counterspell, if they're going to give us Counterspell, they're going to print it at rare slot. I'm going to be aggravated. I would much rather see Flusterstorm or them test out something cool to see how it works in the format. Like, Flusterspell would make for some really cool counter battles.
Oh, guys, we're forgetting Mental Misstep here.
That's banned in Modern.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
Yeah. I know. Marine says Counterspell in Modern might actually be more powerful than Force in Modern.
I would.
It's kind of iffy.
We're kind of making that argument that it's better to have Force than Counterspell, and that blue doesn't need Counterspell.
Right.
I would say Counterspell. I could see the argument for that, where Counterspell might be better after turn 3, like turn 4, turn 5. But you're talking about putting a card in which would allow you to unban 2 drops that are considered to be completely busted in the format, to allow for more decks to pop open live. I could see that with Force of Will in the format, they could go, okay, we're going to unban Stoneforge Mystic, and we're going to unban this card. We'll never see Sensei's Divining Top unbanned in the format, ever. As much as I would love to see it unbanned, the card's too powerful. It leads to timing issues on the clock. It leads to people manipulating the clock. It's just not worth. It's not worth.
Was it too powerful before Miracles? I'm just throwing that out there. Was it? Before Miracles was top too powerful.
Yes.
Okay.
It's 2-part. It's powerful because it can draw you into that one piece you need after manipulating the top of your deck right when you need it. Or if you do some type of effect that manipulates your library, like a fetch land, you can just keep like, I cracked this fetch. I top. Okay, I cracked this fetch land. Get the land out I want. I top again. Okay, I crack the top. I get my combo piece. I win the game. Or the clock's getting low. I've won game 1. He's gonna win this game if I don't get to time soon. I'm gonna spend the top. I put them back in this order. You know what? I'm gonna spend the top again. I'm gonna spend another 30 seconds looking at this. I'm gonna rearrange them again.
Right.
No, let me rethink that. I'm going to spin the top again, and I'm going to rearrange them a third time and put them back. Okay, I've just eaten a minute and a half on the clock. Your turn. Okay, during your upkeep, I'm going to spin the top.
Right.
It's true. The interesting question from Tardis, he was asking, why only vintage as far as a restricted list? Why not be like Yu-Gi-Oh! And have a banned and restricted list for all formats?
The reason why they don't like the restricted list is it adds more time to deck checking at the big competitive level for tournaments. So being a judge, having to look and say, can you please pull up the restricted list? Do we have to see how many of these cards are restricted in this person's deck?
Right.
It's a nightmare. I love the idea of a restricted list. I actually proposed a long time ago that Modern should have a 2/4 list as opposed to a restricted list.
Yes,
and like
I could agree with
cards
that.
like Deathrite Shaman shifted to the 2 list before it eventually gets banned.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You would see cards like Splinter Twin getting shifted to the 2 slot, but it comes down to a time crunch. When they're doing deck checks, they're just counting numbers really quick. They're not really paying attention to what's in the deck and if it's legal in the format. That's a DDLP later on down the line. But when there's restricted cards, you actually have to make sure they're not running 2 Sol Rings in their deck, so to speak.
Right.
Sol Ring would be an amazing card in the form. I can't believe I haven't said that.
And I never worked as a judge, but I worked did a lot of events as a TO, and during some of those events, I had to help with deck check. So I completely understand where you're coming from on that. It would create a logistical problem that I don't know how you would solve.
Right.
Although,
keep in mind that
they do deck checks in Yu-Gi-Oh, but the decks are smaller.
Here's one thing I would consider for that. The only way you would solve it is if Wizards made an official deck registration form, right?
Right.
Where you would have to go through and it would list all the cards in your deck, and then there would be a separate list for cards that you are restricted, and it would then be on the players to have restricted cards listed in that point. And if they don't, then it's just a flat game loss.
Right. Grizzly says is foil in Modern. If not, it could be a safe alternative to Force of Will.
You are that foil is not in Modern, and I could very easily see that card printed in Modern. Let me actually double check that.
Is it? I don't know. I'm honestly not sure.
No, I don't think it is, but I mean, I think it got one of those weird dual deck printings.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, let me go pull up the MTG.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a dual deck, which means it's legacy legal, but not Modern legal.
Right. Marine says restricted list anywhere but vintage is stupid. The reason it exists there is because they don't ban things.
Yeah. Foil has only ever been printed in Prophecy and in Ultimate Masters. So I could actually see foil taking the line. And actually, if foil got printed, I could live with a foil in Modern.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good. I mean, I don't think it would be bad.
And Space Marine, I don't think there's ever going to be
honestly
a restricted list in any other format. Just so you know.
After reading foil, I just don't think it would ever see play in Modern.
Well, but it's still an alternative to have.
No, because it's already a tight land format. You have to get rid of an island card and another card from your hand.
Right.
That actually leads to a scenario. Foil is actually more busted in Modern, leading to the scenario where Carl mentioned earlier, where people would run foil because then you don't have to play island, because you can discard an island and a mountain, or an island and a Tarmogoyf, and still counter. So that is actually would be more busted than a Force of Will.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at foil. I don't think they need to put it in Modern. I don't think it's.
Grizzly says, I think Miracle Grow decks play it as a 5th Force of Will.
I could see that.
I mean,
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Cards I'd like to see in Modern, which will never happen, and it's on my top of my wish list, is Gush. It's considered to be the best printed draw spell ever to exist, even greater than Ancestral Recall.
Right. Mr. Undying, I know that you don't. I know that you mainly play Standard, but are there any cards that maybe you would expect them not to put in the set, or not to add into Modern?
Oh man, I'll be honest, I have no idea.
Right. I know that you don't, that you're more leaning towards standard, but I still figured I'd ask if there was any cards that you could, that maybe you've heard talked about that you're like, no, definitely not, or anything like that.
Yeah, the problem is just that like I haven't been able to
Right.
follow the modern meta in
Right.
about 3 years, so it's like I know
Guys,
everything's changed since then, so it's kind of like I don't know.
We have to get Undying into modern. We have to get you into modern.
I need to get back into modern.
Yeah,
we
need
modern.
to.
They take Twin off the ban list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Francis says the big question is what lands are going to be in the set. He said for real, that's my #1 question.
Battle Bond lands.
Really?
I think there's a possibility of the Battle Bond lands because they need another printing, and they're not as busted in modern where it requires 2 or more players, but 2 or more opponents. I'm actually leaning one of 2 ways. I really think they're going to put the 5 fetch lands into the five Zendikar fetch lands into modern.
You think so?
But they could put 5 full art basics. I could see them doing something like that just to be a dink.
Yeah.
But realistically, look at the price of Misty's and Scalding Tarns and whatnot in the original Zendikar land. They're up there.
Oh yeah,
and
they are.
If they're gonna try to promote the format with the set designed around promoting the format, this is an ideal time at $6.99 an online price to put a set out there that people are gonna gobble up.
Right. CJ says legendary duels, and Devin says waste/basic dual lands.
I could see legendary dual lands. I would actually absolutely love that.
Grizzly, oh my gosh, Grizzly said Battletoad lands. I'm definitely gonna call them that.
That's great. That is great.
Vern, you're always so witty.
But
anyway, continue, Aspara.
More painless.
Now, what I'd like to see, and this, just hear me out on this, is some form of snow-covered dual land.
Oh no.
No, it doesn't have. It can even only have one basic land type. Like for instance, it's a forest, but it's half for blue-green.
Right.
But it also is a snow land, so it has the hyper type snow to support more snow mechanic, adding more snow mechanic to the set.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Williamson says Painlands, perhaps. I mean, there's definitely a lot of different ways that they could go. That's the thing, is that there's not like one that looks specifically better than another.
Anything they print for this set that isn't part of the 250 to 254 slot has to have never been in modern before.
Right.
Which means that they could Which means that they could either be a brand new card or a card from a different format.
Right. There is also that is new cards. Did they say how many new cards there's going to be?
No.
Right.
What their exact
They worded it very differently this time.
They worded it in a way that people would skip and miss the fact that there are 5 cards that are going to be reprints.
Right.
Swap the camera angles, Vara. You keep focusing on me and nobody wants to see my chrome.
I'm sorry. Well, you're the one that's talking, so I try to focus on you. Now, when I've originally told you about Sarah, the benevolent, when we touched on that idea, you weren't too happy about that, and then they confirmed it. What do you think about that at this point?
Me?
Yeah, what do you think about that at this point?
Breaking lore for no reason whatsoever. Sarah is dead.
Yep, I figured that we could get into that topic because I know that we originally, I think it was a couple months ago, we had talked about maybe that idea of that happening, and that now that it's finally happening, I've had a lot of people question that. You know, it's very interesting to see her be a planeswalker now.
How does it fit in?
Sarah was a planeswalker.
Well, right, she was a planeswalker, but, I mean, now she's getting an actual planeswalker card.
She's gonna be like Urza. Nothing they could do to print her is going to be exciting to me because my expectations of her based on her lore is so great that nothing they can put to paper is going to make me happy.
Right, that's the thing, is that she's an okay card, but is she a great card? I say no.
She's not a great card. She's just an okay card.
Right, she's an okay card.
She's a great kitchen table magic card.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
She does stuff. and she doesn't cost too much.
Right.
But
right.
she's no Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Well, right. I was hoping that she would be. What was the other card? What was the Cabal Therapist? Was that the name of it? Yeah.
That black card?
Yeah, it was a Cabal Therapy, but it was a creature version of it.
That thing is boss.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Eric?
I like it a lot, and I know Carl was making fun of me because I made the comment saying, because I don't know what the price for it, the single's going to be just
right.
yet,
$22 right now.
Okay,
yeah.
So I was basically making the comment I felt like it was going to be a cheaper outlet for those that might not be able to afford a player set of like Thoughtseize. I know it's not a turn one thing, but you could play like say Duress, so that way they can reveal their hand, and then you could play that and then do some stuff, and you already have their hand visible, so you can take whatever you want because you know what's in their hand, so you can just name whatever and get rid of it.
Right.
But I mean,
well, the thing I don't like
about it's OP, but I mean, I think it's
the thing I don't like about it is the trigger. If it said during your pre-combat main phase, I would like it because then you could put it out and then you could crack it. But because it's a trigger, they've literally limited its playability.
Well, they had literally labeled it and called it the incredibly powered down version of the legacy staple Cabal Therapy. They literally said it's specifically incredibly powered down to be able to have a spot in other formats. I mean, I thought that was interesting.
I don't think it's playable.
You don't think it's playable? I'm not sure. A lot of people are excited about it, and that's what gets me is that can someone make it work?
I gotta test it myself because I'm not sure either. I like the idea of it. It's just you gotta see it to know if it's good or not.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying it's gonna be I'm not saying it's gonna be oh my god, here it is, this groundbreaking card, but
you get excited over it, like, and then you plan on playing it, but then you play it and you're like, oh, this is kind of bull. This is kind of like not what I thought it was going to be.
The only thing that's really cool about this, it is a 1-drop 1/1 menace.
Exactly. I think it's neat.
That right there, I mean,
that makes it viable. But the problem I have with it is it's a pre-combat main phase trigger.
Right. That's the problem with it.
I'd rather Thoughtseize them on turn 1.
I mean, exactly.
I agree. I would rather do that.
Actually, it's modern. It's modern. I'd much rather cast the better Thoughtseize.
I mean, that's the thing is that it just
What's the better Thoughtseize?
I'm blanking on the name. It's the one that was in Rise of Eldrazi.
I see the art.
That's why I said better Thoughtseize.
I see the art in my head. I don't remember the name though.
I know. And somebody's saying it in chat right now, and they're screaming, and we're not even paying attention.
Nope, no one's saying it. No one's saying it.
It was an Eldrazi card, right?
Yes, it was a Rise of Eldrazi.
The 1-drops I'm just thinking of is like Extirpate and Surgical Extraction.
No, it's specifically the one that's 1 black and it's CMC 4 or less, which is every card in Modern.
Inquisition.
Kozilek.
Inquisition and Kozilek.
Yeah.
Iocane Powder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Inquisition Kozilek is also a good card.
Kozilek.
But I know what you're talking about.
It's better Thoughtseize. It hands down is the better Thoughtseize.
Grizzly says, what if they make the counterspell into a creature?
Well, in Legacy, there is a wizard that does cast counterspell.
Hey, 2 blue, 1/1, Merfolk, Flash, counter target spell. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good to me. Let's print it. Let's print it. Let's see a $50 foil just out of sheer hype for the card. Let's do it.
Why can't we get these cards in Arena?
Yeah, fuck that. It's so annoying.
Happen.
I would love.
The only way to play Modern in Arena is this one set.
I would do it. I want to see a Modern in Arena. I would have fun with it. I'm sick of just playing Standard all the time.
I'm just sick of the shuffler.
I am too. We need to start a boycott.
That's why I've kind of like not played it in almost a week. I'm like,
they designed that game for weekend warriors that want to play a 15-minute game and then go run out.
But I like 15-minute games. I just want them to be good 15-minute games where I don't brick all the time.
And the thing is as bad as MTGO might look, the shuffler on it was at least better.
What was that comment, Asfara?
Nothing about you saying brick.
Oh gosh! Oh my gosh!
Brick
about MTGO. I agree with Eric. I've never, I haven't played it in a long time, but I don't remember ever having problems with the shuffler.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you made a legit, land base for your deck. Like if you had 24, 25 lands, it ran very close to what it probably would run in a paper deck. But you do that on Arena, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten screwed and it makes no sense, or how many times like I've mulliganed multiple times and still get one land hands. It's like, this is just not real. It just doesn't make sense.
Yep. Francis says extended arena. When do we want it now? I could go for extended arena. Let's do it.
How do you guys feel
Let's
about
party.
creating a new modern format in arena?
Yeah, I mean,
it wouldn't include a format that would not include all of the sets.
Right.
Kind of like a frontier type format.
Right. I mean, I just...
How about we do something really cool? We take arena.
Trash it and restart?
We put it on the curb. We kick it in the back of the head, and we just mix Magic Online.
I like it. Let's do it.
And then I can play Momare Vig. Then I can actually play a damn game of Momare Vig Basic, which is amazing format, I might add.
Yeah.
I went out of my way to get 40 foil basics.
Oh, no.
Sorry, it was 100. 100 foil basics exclusively for Momare Vig.
Tardis says, how far back do you want Arena to go? That's a good question. Eric, what do you think about that? He says Kaladesh, Tarkir, Theros. How far back would you want it?
I see like people's argument, like this has came up quite a bit, and people would say past cons block due to the fetch lands, but they're going to print them again eventually, so that's kind of like an invalid argument. So I kind of don't know where to start it, I guess.
Kyoji says beta. I'll take from beta. I'll take from beta.
Right now,
I'm not going to complain.
Symbol up.
Go all the way back to Alpha.
Gosh.
Bring it all the way back to the beginning of the game. What they should have done with Arena.
They're never going to, though.
What they could have done with Magic Arena was really simple. If they wanted to make Magic Arena playable for someone like me, they started Alpha and follow an accelerated version.
That would have been cool.
The release schedule of the original cards going forward.
Right.
And when I say accelerated, I mean they'll have the standard cards playable off to the side if people want to play standard, but it starts at Alpha and all of the competitions start with Alpha through Unlimited to start.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
And then let's say that the release schedule was a year between a set. You bring it down to 2 months.
Right.
And within 5 years, you have every card available and you've played through all the formats. And I'm telling you, that format's changing so frequently that I'm actually going to be a proponent for it. And I'm the biggest opponent of freaking Magic Arena you'll ever find.
I think that would have been a way too unrealistic idea, though. That's unfortunate.
Says Origins. Now, isn't Origins where supposedly the failed format from Japan, Frontier, started? Just throwing that out there. I'm not sure. I think it is.
The whole Frontier thing?
Frontier starts with Origins. And Wizards of the Coast specifically stated that if they were going to adopt Frontier, they would take it a little further past that. And they specifically said which set, and then there was never anything after. This is actually not Wizards. This was Gempwater who said it.
Yeah.
And I want to throw out the question, if they added all these other formats to Arena, would it be the death knell of Hearthstone? Or would other card games be able to survive in the wake of having the sheer volume and option that Arena, if they fix the shuffle, remind me.
I was going to say, if they fix the shuffle.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a good,
and different types of formats, if they put everything into Arena, what would happen to the other card games? The other digital
Correct. That's what it was. Tardis was right. It was M15 forward, and they specifically said they'd start with Origins forward to get rid of fetch lands from Cons block.
Right.
Here's what I would do. Like, if you want to make Arena playable to someone like me, you want me to be a proponent and actually say this is something cool. Maybe set up some computers in my shop where people can sit down and play games versus each other.
Right.
You need to bring in the old stuff.
I agree.
You need to make it a full format game and push forward. Yep. But at that point, and when I say going forward, I mean if you start playing this game 5 years after me, you can still buy alpha cards directly from the store if you want.
Right.
Meaning that they're not going to rotate out. They're going to be there forever, which means eventually everybody can save their dust up and get a pack of alpha hoping for a Lotus. Or everybody can save their dust up and do whatever they want.
I'll take a Lotus.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be the one to give me it? I'll take it.
It would definitely encourage the whales to go crazy and just buy everything.
I definitely
What's a Lotus
agree.
worth on MTGO? Anyone know? What's Lotus worth?
Not a clue.
Not
Who's
sure.
playing background music?
What?
I'm hearing some music somewhere.
There's no music from us.
Yeah, nothing in my room.
Nope.
I heard somebody say something Frontier.
Nope.
Nope, there's no one else here. So I guess that brings us to War of the Spark, right? We were talking about breaking war with Sarah. Is War of the Spark going to rewrite the lore? Is it going to change the magic lore as we know it? And
it's gonna be interesting.
How is having 36 planeswalkers, one in each pack, going to affect Standard?
Ooh, what do you think about that Undying?
I want Eric's opinion on this.
I do too.
I have a novel to talk
we
about.
all instantly looked at you like, this is your time to shine, baby.
Oh my god. Well,
the pressure.
Turn a little red. Don't worry. Don't be embarrassed. The whole world is.
It's alright. Yeah.
Well, besides the fact,
this is where you make your moment. Now you gotta tell us. What do you think about the 36 planeswalkers?
I guess for me personally, it adds a lot of trade to my binder because I'm not going to use them. But
right, what do you think about another Teferi? Another new Teferi?
On like what, as far as just the cards themselves, like what to be expected as far as power wise or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, at 36 planeswalkers, how many of them can be viable?
Right.
That's the thing. We were actually talking about this on Monday, and we all came to the conclusion that it's pretty much probably going to be like, I know Francis brought it up a while back, and the idea of like an uncommon planeswalker or a dummy down rare planeswalker that basically is a clunky enchantment with like a stupid +1, like, if it's like, say, a black planeswalker, target opponent's creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn or something dumb like that.
Right.
It's not going to be. If people are expecting them to be like mythic powered planeswalkers, they're sadly mistaken. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
Oh, no.
And what if they are?
And if they are, then this has got to be the stupidest thing I've ever seen Wizards do.
May I chime in on that comment for 1 second? Can you think of a point in history in which there were ever 37 planeswalkers in Standard at one time?
Well, of course not.
What if I told you just lived through it and completely overlooked it? The entire last season that rotated just before October, there were 43 legal planeswalkers in Standard, and everybody overlooked it.
Of the decks.
All the intro decks, all of the boosters, all of the sets. When you calculated all the sets and the 5 intro packs, and this, that, and the other, there were like 40-something planeswalkers, and a deck didn't pop up to be the deck. The Super Friends didn't pop up.
Right, but the difference is that this is one whole set that they're different rarities as well, and you get one per pack. I mean, that's huge.
Did Time Shifted really affect the set when you were drafting back in Time Spiral? No.
I mean, I understand. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's the 16th card in the pack. It's gonna make drafts interesting. It means that people are gonna like, if they're actually, even if it's only a planeswalker that can only dumb itself down -1, -1, -1.
Right.
I think we're gonna see a lot more juice than you think. I think Wizards is. So think about it this way. This is the first set of the first quarter of 2019.
Yeah.
And the projected year before everybody who thinks that Wizards is going to sell thinks they're going to sell in 2020.
Right.
Well, you're going to want to push the biggest numbers you can that entire year prior.
Right.
I think we're going to see some pretty high power level in this slot. I think it's going to become the bomb/first pick slot. I think we're going to see a lot of cards that just flat out kill Planeswalker's main set.
I mean, definitely.
I mean, I could see them printing a 1 black spell that says target planeswalker gets two minus loyalty counters or something like that.
Right.
I could see them making a planeswalker that makes itself weaker to weaken another planeswalker, you know, and like all this weird, funky stuff that they could go with.
Right,
yeah,
definitely.
Here's my question. Yeah. So let's say out of the 36 planeswalkers, we get a majority, a mass of them that are good.
Right.
Does that mean the rest of the rares in the set, what are they going to be? Are they going to be about weakening the planeswalkers? Are they going to be about removal?
Right.
Like,
are they going to be?
Is there going to be a theme with the rest of the rares to counterbalance all of these?
Not the rare. They could print a common terminate that hits planeswalkers.
They could. I mean, there's definitely quite a few different things that they could do, especially if they go with the way of destruction. Tardis says, do you expect more blanks defeats cards like Chandra's defeat, Jace's defeat? I could see that.
Well,
that
there's
would
so
be
many
interesting.
Planeswalkers.
Right.
Yeah, so you'd have to an immense amount of cards just to do that. 'Cause, I mean, so you'd be at 72 different cards just that coincide with planeswalker play. I mean, that'd be kind of a waste.
Well, they don't all have to have defeat cards. It could just be like the guild leaders. What if it's just like like Vraska's defeat, like stuff like that. Like the guild leaders, Vraska's defeat, Niv Mizzet's defeat, or like Ral's defeat, stuff like that.
If we get Jace's defeat and Jace is actually mind wiped and dead and gone, I'd be okay with this. I mean, I'm not going to argue.
Well, we saw the defeats during Hour of Devastation when they all were defeated by Bolas. That was the last time we saw the defeat cards.
Hey, red minus 4 destroy target Bolas.
Bolas's defeat.
I mean, yeah. If Bolas is even going to be defeated in the story right now.
I think it would be better if they just went with more generic planeswalker removal instead of targeting specific planeswalkers.
I agree.
Just because there's so many planeswalkers in the set, I think it's more productive to have a card and more useful to have a card.
Right.
That is a generic planeswalker removal instead of using up an entire slot.
Right.
Even if it's a common, using up an entire slot that just is for one planeswalker, I would hate that. But besides removal, what else do you guys think would be in the set?
I think we're gonna see. I think what's gonna happen is this is a speculation of mine. Each guild is going to have like their own like quote unquote defeat card, like Demir's Destruction and stuff like that, and then they're going to do specific things. One might remove an emblem, one might remove a planeswalker, one might remove an artifact or an enchantment, stuff like that. I think that we're gonna see something themed around the guilds, but it's going to be more of a removal. Whether it's a board wipe, like all planeswalkers are wiped, or an emblem destruction, stuff like that.
Ingaruk's Wake style item. Like, oh my god, if they print something that removes emblems, finally, I think that they will.
And Eric in chat, Williamson just said that as long as we get a remove an emblem card, I'll be happy. I 100% agree. I definitely think we're going to see that.
Somebody who loves the specialness of an emblem agrees with that. 100%. That we need something to interact with emblems.
We do, especially in a set full of planeswalkers. I mean, definitely.
I'd actually like to see a card. Oh my god. Hold on.
So would you guys want it to be a card that kind of clears the emblems just on a general level? Or would you think maybe a card that clears emblems on maybe some type of color scheme, like a guild scheme?
I mean...
do you think just clearing? Do you guys think that just being able to clear any emblem is too good? So maybe kind of go with guilds or color combinations. Say you may remove an emblem from a red planeswalker. You may remove an emblem from a white planeswalker.
The thing is that the emblems aren't attached to the planeswalker afterwards. They're
it's there in existence.
It's there, right? It's like a board state type of card in a way. Like it's not like they don't have colors. Once they're already on the board, they don't have that like state attached to them anymore. I guess
all I'm trying to say is there a way to create this but still limit it somehow?
I think that we definitely should just see. I know it's powerful to see an emblem removal card straight up, but I definitely think that we need it in a set like this.
Here's my argument to it. I mean, you guys can agree with me or not, but if you have emblem removal, your opponent's already done enough damage with their planeswalker to beef it up to the point of getting the emblems. I mean, they rightfully should be doing stuff in order to get that. So I don't see why you would have to quote unquote nerf a remove emblem card.
You're not wrong.
It's like it's a comeback card. You know what I mean? It's
right.
So I mean, I just don't see why it would have to necessarily have a downside to it. Because the downside should just be you're getting your ass kicked by...
Right. If it's already out, there's already something going on the board.
No, I mean, I just threw that out there. I think Eric's logic is perfect. It's fine for me. I just figured I'd throw that out there.
Right. Oh, yeah. I agree.
Sorry, I had to get the phone, so I missed his logic.
Well, I had thrown out the idea that if there is emblem removal, is there somehow to restrict it? You don't have to restrict it. You just made a good argument to say that no, you don't need to restrict emblem removal. Just make emblem removal, and he made a good argument. So
yeah, the simple point is just do what you would do with something else. Put 5 life on it.
Right. I mean, it's
as an additional cost to cast the spell, pay 5 life.
Right.
Remove target emblem.
Right. I mean,
exorcism.
Jody says, Jace, the Mind Sculptor emblem automatically went to the game. What good is an emblem removal? I mean, some emblems don't do that, though. They're an emblem.
Jace the Mind Sculptor really doesn't have an emblem. It's an ultimate.
Right.
So instead of an emblem, I think what he does is he does an ultimate. So
right.
Yeah. There's a difference between an emblem and an ultimate, and Jace is like over 9,000, so like it's its own kind of
We're talking about Jace the Mind Sculptor here.
Yeah.
Like, I just oof. Francis emblems and commander are earned.
I definitely see what Jody is saying.
Right.
Yes. A remove emblem card would not affect an ultimate. But maybe they could create a card that says, like an artifact or an enchantment that is like an aura, and it says, a target planeswalker's ultimate is not usable, or something along those lines.
Right.
That's how you would stop that. I guess.
Like target player picks for each planeswalker picks one ability on the planeswalker to use, or something like that. Like some sort of hinge to it.
What do you guys think about like a card like that?
I don't know how well it would work, but I think it would be interesting. I think it would be something that we could see. Cinder says, how about uncounterable planeswalker removal?
I'd be okay with this.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, there's a reason why I'm a huge fan of Supreme Verdict.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously. Right. But yeah, I definitely could see something like that. For sure.
I'm a huge fan of burn cards that can't be countered.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's only one.
Who doesn't love some Banefire?
Yeah, I know.
The Banefire can't be countered.
Banefire is
Firecraft. Is that the other one that can't be...
What card?
Exquisite Firecraft? Is that another one that can't be countered?
I think so.
Yeah, the one with the Chandra art?
Yeah, with the Chandra art. I think it only had one printing. Because I know I've seen it in a lot of Legacy Legacy and Modern Burn, straight up red burn decks. I've seen that inside for it.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about tonight? I'm not sure. I mean, we've practically talked about...
Let's just mention about the lore itself, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think the story is going to be? How about, I'll just throw this out there, like, what's the story
mess.
of War of the Spark?
A fucking mess.
I can't even imagine what it's going to be like.
It's a headache. That's what it's going to be.
Together, how are they going to give them any I'll call it table time? How are they going to give them any table time?
Right.
It's like watching the damn Avengers movie. It's too many characters at once.
Exactly.
I don't think you need table time per se when it comes to Planeswalkers. It's going to be one of two things. It's going to be an all-out bloodbath, and it's going to be all named dudes, and this is how they finally get rid of people like Esper. So, like, every pack could have a mythic-level Planeswalker in it. One thing I wanted to touch base on is I'm expecting a price increase at the LGS level for that 16th card that will never be removed.
What 16th card?
The Planeswalker slot is the 16th card in the pack.
So on Wizards... Now, I'm not sure if they are going to update this. On Wizards of the Coast website, it says that there's only going to be 15 cards a booster pack.
They're post when they posted about the 36 walkers is there would be a planeswalker slot in the back. It would be a 16 card.
So they said that, but their website still says that booster packs are only going to be 15 for War of the Spark, so we don't know yet. So it could go either way. Right. So they could get rid of something like a basic land slot.
Getting information.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
Right.
They're clicking their and I've seen both. I've seen what you're both talking about. So
right.
Wizards drop all again.
Yes, it is very conflicting right now. But right now, it still says technically on their website that it's 15 cards still. But we were also told that it was going to be 16. So there's really, it could go either way.
If it's 16, I'm okay with it. But
if it's 15, what do you think?
It seems that they rushed really fast.
Yes.
Into saying we are going to be removing. It seems to me that they rushed and said we're going to be removing MSRP effective with this set.
Right.
That's that's less than a 1 set notification. It's a 0 set notification.
Right.
And it's less than a 2-month notification.
Right.
The only conceivable reason I could see them doing that knee jerk is they plan on increasing the cost.
Right. I mean, that would be right. They have to do it next set and whatnot, so they had to do it.
Any idea what the increase would be, you think?
I think it would be somewhere along the lines of about 15 cents a pack.
Damn.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, I could.
$5 increase per box, which is going to directly affect everybody.
Yeah,
at the retail level, that should translate to an increase of $10.
More.
Right.
$15, right?
Don't forget, because the last two times they've done an increase, they didn't increase MSRP. Right. So we're going to see a potential back. Like, don't forget, Walmarts are already at the $4.29 mark.
Oh
roughly.
Yeah, they're already I mean, there's also that to consider too.
So if Walmarts are sitting at like $4 a pack right now.
Right. Yeah, they're sitting at like $4 bucks.
That's going to directly affect everybody.
Yeah.
Because if Walmart raises the price, then that sets the new metric for everyone. It basically means there's no MSRP, but Walmart has an MSRP, so there is an MSRP, but there isn't an MSRP.
Exactly. That's the thing, is that there is, but there isn't at the same time. It's like, what are you supposed to think about it?
So is the way that Walmart looks at it, is it such that they see what they paid for it and they just increase it by 2% no matter what it is?
Correct. If a manufacturer doesn't tell them an MSRP, they assume MSRP.
That's why they're always so over cost, or over what you could possibly get it at, like an LGS. That's why they're always usually like $1 more. It's because they make their own numbers. They don't care about MSRP. They don't care about any of that.
Correct.
And now that's why it's not going to affect them at all, because if cost goes up, then their prices are going to go up as well. So that's right.
Which sucks.
Marine says, I was thinking Walmart would go lower just to mess everyone else up. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think Walmart cares enough to go lower.
They don't care.
If Walmart wanted to go lower, they have gone lower already with the last price increase. Right. They went $4.28 a pack in store. If it happens again, it means they're going to like $4.59.
Oh yeah.
You're seeing your LGS is going to about $4.50.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but
maybe even $5, right? Maybe even $5.
I mean, it could possibly. I mean, possibly. Who knows?
I've been saying that the price increase on retail is going to go to $5 for a long time, and you know this. I've been saying it for a while. Overhead cost. The only reason why it's artificially down right now is people are just keeping it down.
Right.
I think there's going to be a point where it's just like, nope, too much.
Right.
Devin is talking about Walmart and outside vendors. Devin, so we've talked about this a million times. All of the card games at Walmart are done by MJ Holdings.
Right.
So MJ Holdings is a large distributor and liquidator that handles the card games not only for Walmart, but Walmart, Kmart,
all of the larger box stores.
Yeah. MJ Holdings.
Family box stores, basically your huge boxes.
Right.
If
carries top of the
not
top.
Your CVS, not your CVS's, not your Walgreens, literally your Targets, your Walmarts, your Sam's Clubs, any of those companies.
Right.
You go into a Sam's Club and you see a section with sports cards. It's handled by MJ Holdings.
Right.
So MJ Holdings is the company. So there's a little back and forth. So MJ Holdings is getting the stuff way cheaper than anyone else is from Wizards of the Coast, from Pops, from Konami. They're getting stuff way cheaper. So they have a margin so that they can basically sell to Walmart, and then Walmart also has some input in the decision of how much it goes on the shelf for.
Right.
So Walmart will tell them we need X percentage, and then MJ Holdings says, okay, then you got to sell it for this.
Right.
And this is how it works. So
exactly.
So
It's
the product is brought into Walmart by MJ Holdings, but
Right.
it's still kind of a back and forth as far as the pricing goes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how. Really, we can't really guess until we know what price is going up to, or cost is going up to, I should say. We really won't know.
I do have one question.
What's the
before we go.
question? Yes, Lightning Bolt will be back in standard. I promise.
No. In regards to the inevitable price hiking, do you see yourself, this is more for Asfara, being a store owner and all, do you see yourself opening up more boxes for the sake of the people that tend to be more of the traders versus the pack buyers?
I have not opened a box of Magic since BFZ, and I refuse to open any boxes, including that, until we get to a scenario where the boxes have the value for me to justify it.
Right.
Okay. Because I know, like, the store in my area, I know they always crack X amount of boxes strictly for people who just trade for store credit all the time.
Right.
And I didn't know if that was everybody's practice, but
it comes down. I'm going to say this: any store that does that is if the EV on the box is not greater than the cost of the box, and they're cracking boxes, they're purely losing money, or they're overcharging for their singles.
Right.
Because it is cheaper for me to go online and just stock a bunch of staples at a small markup, or just do a massive buy, right?
Francis says people who crack boxes are pre-selling full sets.
For the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair.
True. One more lore question.
Yes.
Everyone pick someone who's going to die.
Nissa. Because she can
mama.
go.
I'm going with Gideon. Gideon's going to die.
Well, that's what I was going to say, but...
All right, two for Gideon.
Yeah.
But listen, Gideon, the problem with Gideon is that him and Liliana are being marketed as the faces of the set.
No, I got you all right now.
What? Who do you think is Farah?
Farouk.
He's not even here! He's already dead!
Right, that's the point. They're gonna say he died so that they don't have to deal with toxic masculinity anymore.
Oh god, it's the truth.
All right. Chat says we have one for Liliana, one for Dovin, one for Johnny. Carl says all of them, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be the blessing.
Target says Gideon is the obvious
Carl.
one.
If I get paid a bolt of yours, Carl.
How about...
They kill Karn so they can bring back Urza in another set. That's what I'm saying. They kill Karn.
I could go with some Urza.
It's the sum of expectation. We are never going to see Urza.
Oh, I know. I'm just joking.
Because of the sum of expectation, we should have
what
never...
about the headmaster? What about AskUrza.com?
Wait. Are you talking about Urza that is headmaster?
Yeah, the unset at the...
Oh, wow, you completely missed what I said, Vara.
What'd you say?
I said Urza that gives headmaster?
Yeah. Francis says...
I hope that Dak Vader's out of the set, right? So I don't have to worry about Dak.
Yes,
right? Is he in the set? Is he part of this story?
Who, Dak?
Dak. Yeah.
I
have a D&D character named Dak Vader, just so everyone knows.
Oh my god. Do you know who the best death of the set would be?
Who?
Tibble!
Oh!
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Let me look real quick. So, I mean, I'm looking at the list. Do you guys want me to say the list real quick?
Vampire Hex Mage is not banned in Modern. There's some conversation.
I don't see...
Vampire Hex Mage is not...
I do not see, Dak Faden. The ones that are pretty interesting to me that I thought was interesting was, of course, Soren. Soren's back, which everyone...
don't forget about Dak Faden. Sorry, Dark Vaden is unique to the comic book universe. He is not a regular release.
Right.
He was only in Conspiracy.
Davril Kane is back, by the way. If you guys didn't see that one, that one's pretty interesting.
I want Citizen Kane.
Yeah, he's pretty interesting. He was a good one that they also added in one of the planeswalkers from the from those Chinese dual decks a couple of months ago.
They actually added both, I believe.
Yes, they added in both. They did.
Yeah,
Right now there is 2 unknowns. There's 2 that are totally unknown. The ones that I was really interested in that are returning are Ashiok. Really great to see Ashiok back.
Ashiok, even with all the BS they gave him for a backstory, one of my favorite planeswalkers.
Let's see. I was actually really happy to see Kiora. I loved Kiora. I thought that it was pretty cool. You know, I'm really pissed off that we're not seeing Elspeth here. Really mad at that, honestly.
Actually, one of the arts is speculated to be Elspeth. If you take a
yeah,
look.
we saw that, but
So one of the arts is speculated, but it's not
maybe.
Elspeth. It's got orange hair, and Elspeth in the underworld has black hair now.
Yeah, maybe she's finally completed her task and it's changed.
And you also have to consider the armor doesn't look like it. The staff doesn't look like it.
I don't think it's her, but
I don't think it's her.
I said it's speculated, and we have to go with
that's a fair thing to say. The other ones that were interesting were Arlen Cord. Not to me personally, not that exciting, but I mean, you know, Ugin.
I hate Arlen Cord.
Ugin.
Oh my god, I could actually see a battle where Ugin and Bolas die.
Yep, Ugin and Bolas are on this. Ugin and Bolas are in War of the Spark.
And that Ugin art, oh my god. If these turn out to be Masters Edition online, only 8 random out of 36, I am going to slit my wrists.
I'm gonna be pretty sad if that happens, honestly. Because some of these are really freaking good.
And I just
what about a Sliver Planeswalker?
Can we please?
Oh my god.
Can we please?
That would probably make my day. That'd be the only planeswalker I'd enjoy.
Yeah, that day, that is going to be the impromptu Titans table day. That is going to be the day that we're all going to sit here hurrahing. Like, yeah, woo!
Right now, if we get a Sliver planeswalker,
I'll die.
It better say that this can be played as your general, because Overlord is getting shelved.
Oh god, that would be great.
I have a Sliver deck. It is getting shelved
that would be great.
for that card.
But other than those characters, I mean, the only one that was kind of cool to me was Ob. Ob is in it.
Slob?
Nixilis?
Oh, Obi Nix.
Yeah, I
got a gangster name, Obi Nix.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, other than that, I really thought Kane was cool. Kane was the most interesting character out of all of them by far.
So it'd be interesting if they take Kane and then they also make an Abel.
That'd be yeah. Let's do that. But other than
Kane needs to spawn vampires. For the love of God, Kane needs to be able to spawn vampires.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, was there anyone that you guys thought should have been in it? I personally think Elspeth, but...
Is there any character that anyone thinks should be killed? Legitimately. Not just throwing names out there, but legitimately killed.
Nobody deserves to die, but Ugin.
Yeah.
I love him. Or Karn.
I keep saying Karn, but
let me explain the reasoning behind Karn as much as I love him.
Yeah.
He is a hero that all of the good guys relate to. He's
the
go-to person, and he's the person that can unite them. So he is also a machine, which means that you can kill him and still not kill him, meaning a master artificer could bring him back.
Right.
Plus, he does have a spark in him. And out of all of the planeswalkers, it's the easiest and the most powerful in all of existence. I could see his being harvested as part of a plot. I could almost see Nicole Bolas being like,
yeah,
I don't want to deal with you guys anymore. Congratulations.
Right.
Traxa, I found that item you're looking for the rest of the Praetors. Would you like to come pick it up for me right now? Yeah, you guys are going to owe me a small favor. Here you go.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting to think of all the possibilities.
All right, so for this week, any last words on War of the Spark?
Yeah, I mean...
The 37th Planeswalker. I'm positive it's gonna. At this point, based on all the hype they're trying to push and make this a grand slam, we're going to see a Planeswalker buy a box promo. It's time.
Could be. Also, hey, I just wanted to mention that there's 36 Planeswalkers, right? But aren't 5 of them not actually in the set? They're in the decks, right?
No.
No.
Those are 5 extras.
All right, that's why I'm asking. So there's going to be. So
Right.
how many Planeswalkers are there really? 41.
There's.
Do we count Daywalkers?
Right. So there's the 36, then the 37, and then the Planeswalker deck ones.
So we got way more Planeswalkers here.
Right.
We have
Technically,
41.
right. There's 41 technically. As right, but the Planeswalker deck ones, right? We don't know who they're going to be either. I'm going to assume there's going to be a Liliana, and then there's going to be a Gideon, and then who knows the other ones.
So most likely just another version of a Planeswalker that's already printed in the set.
Right.
Not
There's
a new
probably
character.
right. That's probably going to be the case. But who really knows? We won't know for what, another month.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a Planeswalker deck. I'm gonna make a Super Friends deck, even if it's bad.
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna be honest, probably.
Oh, and let's not lie about. Let's. I have a friend who makes me on my hyperbolic days seem like the cheeriest person in the world, saying that this many Planeswalkers is literally gonna ruin Standard, and I'm like, what do you mean it's gonna ruin Standard? We haven't had Standard fire in our store since BFZ.
Yeah.
Cinder doesn't
You can't
know
ruin something that isn't firing. This is
True.
purely a commander-based set,
Right.
and I know that every commander player, it's commander and kid-based.
Yeah.
And they're literally going, kids like to spend money on Magic, and we're greedy now. How can we make them spend it?
Right. But yeah, I don't think there's anything.
Is that true? I think Cinder might be right. That
Yeah, there should only be 2 Planeswalker decks, but we're not 100% sure yet because there has been a lot of speculation that there will be 5.
Cinder, so I agree with you that there should only be 2, but there is speculation that they're going to 5 for all of the sets.
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation surrounding
I want them to go back to the 5 decks with 1 booster. When they did that with 19, I sold more of the intro decks because it's easier for me to tell a father, hey, these are $10.99 MSRP, but if you buy all 5, I'm going to do $10 a piece.
Right.
And bam, now he has 5 decks to sit down and play with his kids.
Right.
Then it is for me to go, this one is $16.99. It comes with 2 booster packs.
Right.
Yeah, Eric, any last words on War the Spark for this week?
Any last words, friends?
No, I don't got anything for it, to be honest. I'm just waiting for spoiler season, more or less.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a ton to talk about when spoiler season starts.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be good.
I think we should end by giving Aspera one last time to scream and yell about premium WPN access.
This is your 30 seconds, Aspera, and start.
I think the face says it all.
I can't even. I'm gonna get memed on. I'm gonna be another meme, and I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I think that this is the biggest mistake they've made, but it also shows the true colors. This does not feel organic. Here, we're trying to help you. This feels organic. Glass bottle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. In my opinion, this is Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Trying to weed out smaller stores. Trying to make bigger stores bigger. So that these
stores Sparta.
I mean, yeah.
That's right. This is not a friendly maneuver to smaller stores.
It's not.
This is only a good move for large companies and larger stores. There's a lot of stores in New England.
Oh yeah.
Fit the category of premium that they're going to be looking for.
Yeah.
So, this is not good. It is not good for anyone who thinks it's better for the player base. It isn't. It's worse for the player base.
Oh, no. But, all right, you guys, that is going to be the end of Titan's Table for this week. In 2 weeks, we're going to be doing the video game one, most likely. The one focused more on gaming rather than Magic the Gathering. But,
quick shout out for Minecraft. Play more of it. Join her Patreon. Get on my server.
Yes.
And if you haven't played it and you like modded, check out PO3. Project Ozone 3 is probably one of the best packs I've played through yet.
Good. Make sure to
Well,
go
also,
and...
when is spoiler season?
Spoiler season is at the end of...
Let me look at the calendar real quick.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually 100% because there's...
My guess would be it starts on Monday, which would give us 1 month to the pre-release.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's either Monday the 18th it starts or the 25th.
I think it's the 25th. I think they... I'm not sure because I'm thinking of 2 sets right now. I'm thinking of Modern Horizons and War of the Spark, so...
Yeah.
Hold on.
So,
yeah.
www.google.com, War of the Spark, spoiler season.
Yeah.
Let's go look at the wiki on it real quick for the release date.
Yeah.
So the release date is May 3rd, which means, oh my god, that's actually a really good weekend. That's pre-release weekend is my kid's birthday. Nice.
Nice.
Oh, look,
nice.
She gets a free entry again.
I guess so. When is my free entry?
Oh,
I
was
want
actually
a free
gonna
entry.
that, I was going to give you the option to stream your pre-release on the next one as a live stream from the shop. And I was going to like, I'm not playing favoritism, but I was going to give you a comp just so you'd do it.
Not playing favoritism.
I'm playing nepotism. That's the difference. So the pre-release is the weekend of the 27th. So if you count back 3 weeks before that,
Right.
1, 2, 3. Okay, it's going to be April 1st, and they'll probably start it with an April Fool's announcement to start it off.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Like, I'm calling it now. I'm going to spoil their article. They're going to announce the spoiler season with the release, and they're going to release a picture of Urza as being in the set.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, so I don't know, because we're so close to spoiler season, I think that we'll probably hold off on the video game podcast.
True, yeah, because spoiler season.
I think we should hold off on that. I think we should
true.
continue with Magic until after the set releases,
and
then maybe we can talk
I would like
about...
to say thank you very much to fucking Space Marine, because he has the best name that allows me to get around censorship because I'm reading a name and not actually fucking swearing. Oh wait, he says if I lived wherever the hell you are, I would play at your store. Trust me, you don't want to. I have trophy. And then Carl, go like as far as LGS. Yes, please go like my page. I do various giveaways from time to time. You don't even have to live in my area. I use random number generators, and I've actually shipped boxes.
And he doesn't
to
play
Colorado
favoritism.
Before.
Wink, wink.
I play nepotism. There's a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like instantly googling nepotism.
No,
nepotism.
I'm just keeping the conversation going.
At least I wasn't talking about YIF.
But all right, you guys. Is there anything else that you guys want to
when
talk
you
about?
own the business is not illegal.
Yeah.
when it's your business, nepotism is all within your realm.
True.
It's only illegal when you don't own the business or you work for the government.
All right, you guys. I think that's going to end Titan's Table for this week. Thank you guys for hanging out. Of course, go and subscribe to Mr. Undying MTG. Make sure to like as far as Game Store page. And Grim, maybe next time we'll have a camera. There's a 90% not, but there's a small, slim 10% chance. We got to start with GoFundMe.
I will have a camera.
I see 22 in stream. I want to see 22 likes. There's only 14 right there.
Oh my gosh.
And don't even like it for me. Like it for Eric. The poor kid got talked over all night. Every time he has a good point, we shout him down.
He'll learn how to be more vocal. He'll learn when he's pissed off to really speak up. He'll learn.
Yeah.
He'll get better. But all right, you guys, that is going to end Titan's Table for the night. And everyone in chat, I will be in Discord for the next couple hours if you guys want to hang out in Discord. And thank you for hanging around for the night. Everyone, if you want to say goodbye, everyone have a fantastic night.